Welcome back to Fandom Nation. Tonight is going to be a brief episode. We're just really busy, and Andor is already released, and we want to be able to get over and watch that. And Johnny, are you watching all three episodes tonight? I feel like you normally do on opening night. Maybe not. Maybe you didn't.
Well, it'd be pretty awkward for me to watch all three episodes tonight since they only dropped 8 minutes ago. But last week, yeah, I watched them last week.
Yeah,
Obviously Tuesday night.
I almost
After we
have to.
finished.
I feel like because I don't have time tomorrow to be ready for tomorrow night's show.
Yeah, that's pretty much my problem as well. With watching Dynamite before we go live, and we usually save the weeks prior Collision to watch that Wednesday night as well. So we start watching wrestling around 5-6 o'clock, and straight from watching Dynamite to here. So yeah, there's definitely no time for me on a Wednesday to finish getting caught up.
Yeah, and just clarification for tomorrow, everybody. It's we will be live at some point reviewing episodes 7 through 9, and all I will say is this: I got spoiled this week by someone who had a screener. They're not very smart because when you have screeners nowadays, their name's on it, right? So the images have their name on it, and that person clearly won't be getting screeners anymore. But they spoiled some pretty significant things just by seeing two images, and it was like shit. And the worst part was like you don't go searching for them; they're on a fucking Facebook timeline. It's like, what are you doing, dude? So I'm a bit bummed in regards to that, but it sounds like tonight is a banger night, and you don't want to miss out on it, as I'll say that. We'll be live tomorrow night reviewing them. The goal is to be live around the 10:05, 10:10 Eastern, and we'll be on here for an hour and a half. That being said, as much as I love almost each and every one of you, the Maple Leafs are in the playoffs up 1-0 in the second round for the first time in like 20 years. So, that being said, if there's overtime tomorrow, we will not be going live until after it. I know Randy's a night owl, and I know Johnny's a night owl, and well, I shouldn't be a night owl, but I am, and I pay for it each and every fucking day. So we will be live tomorrow, no matter what. Well, I shouldn't say no matter what. Some things happen that you just can't fix, if you will.
Yeah, like a quadruple overtime game.
Yeah. God, no, because when you lose those, it sucks. It's like, oh my God.
I
There's
stayed up till
6
after
hours
midnight
of my
watching
life
hockey,
I'm
and my
never
team
getting.
Till didn't even win. Fuck this.
Yeah, well, fuck the league as it is. Oh, boy. Our hockey chat has never been so active as it's been in the last 24 hours.
Are more people coming around to my McSorley plan?
It's a 50-50 split, which is why it's active. It's been like a heated court debate in there. Fuck you, Carl, if you're watching. Doubt you are, but we'll be live tomorrow night. Let's start here. If you looked at the thumbnail, I'm going to take this one solo, fellas. Halloween game release window. I seen some people posting some things on Reddit, which I don't trust ever, but then it was starting to make its way on a couple of Facebook groups, and I kind of thought to myself, maybe I should look into this. And the rumor was that the Halloween game would release this fall. And while that might not be impossible if they're using some older assets, several older assets, I can tell you, we reached out to someone who is basically directly involved and can only say so much. There is zero chance, zero, none, unless our information's wrong. Always leave room for that. There's no chance whatsoever that the Halloween game done by Boss Team Games with Carpenter involvement, the one we've talked about, the asymmetrical game, will be ready for release this year. It's not happening. Kill your expectations. Their goal is 2026. To be more specific, fall 2026, which makes sense. but that doesn't mean they're going to even hit that date. And I know there's Halloween fans, and it's crazy to think this, guys, but Halloween Ends came out almost 3 years ago. So you do have people getting impatient. We've seen Halloween Kills almost 4 years ago. People are getting impatient, and I get it. I absolutely do, especially when you see like Scream's doing this, Crystal Lake's doing this. You got a Welcome to Derry show coming out. There's Elm Street rumors, which, by the way, here's a little tidbit of information I never knew before. Do you happen to know who lives in the Elm Street house?
Who lives in the Elm Street house?
Yeah. I should have known this, but I
by
didn't.
the Elm Street house, you mean Freddy's house? Or whose house are you referring to specifically?
I haven't seen enough of Elm Street to know. But
are you talking about the one that was used in the movie?
With the pool house in the back and
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't know who lives in the house.
Bo Burnham lives in that house. And why is that a big deal for me? Well, I named my daughter after him for starters, and was a big part of recovering from a awful miscarriage that the wife went through. And so Bo Burnham will always have a place in our heart. But I didn't realize that. And the worst part is he films it in his house. Go watch the Inside special and watch him walk out. He walks right fucking by it. And I never, ever pieced it together. I'm like, holy shit. That's the pool house. And so I'm looking at these images, and side by side, you see Freddy, and then you see Bo when he's blocking his door at the end of Inside. I'm like, it's the same fucking house. And never pieced that together. So, at least that's where Bo Burnham used to live in 2000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, apparently it was his fiance's house. They no longer own it.
I don't think he's with her anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was her house.
Yeah, so I think he's with a singer. I forget what her name is, but so yeah, at one point, Inside. If you've watched Inside and you thought, kind of looks familiar, well, you would have seen it. It's in Elm Street. So yeah, that's. I don't know how I never pieced that together. Kenny, how's it going, brother? Longtime supporter. Kenny's been with us. He's a day one guy from day one. Star Wars Wastelands, way back in June of 2015. We love you, buddy. Hope all's well. Not sure how confident I am in that new Superman movie, though, if I'm just being frank.
Oh, boy. Can we not talk about that until July? Cause
I'm going to see it because I'm curious, but...
I don't know. I might. I mean, I have that free movie that I have to use before the end of July, so...
Use it on Fantastic Four.
We're going to see 3 movies that month. Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic.
I know I am going to see Fantastic Four, but I think I'm going with my brother to see that, and we usually go to the other theater, not the one I have the movie with, so...
Well, maybe you should come with the kids and go see Jurassic World with the free ticket.
I'd be lying if I said that wasn't what I was leaning.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna use our free stuff on. So, and Superman.
It was that or Superman. Those were the two options.
Superman. I'm kind of hoping we get a blueprint leak, kind of like what just happened with Minecraft. Just fucking watch it that way. I'll be blunt. I'm saying it out loud. Anyways, yeah, so it's a fun little piece of information. And in terms, again, of the Halloween game, it's not this year, people. And like we've talked about so many times in the past, expectations low on the amount of content. You just have to, or you're setting yourself up for failure. But it's an instant
game. It'll be low at launch, and then assuming success, you'll get more in post-launch. That's just the way those games work.
Yeah, well, why don't you ask the Evil Dead game fans how they feel about the amount of content that came out after that?
But that's the point. That game didn't do well. That's why they're shutting down.
And it wasn't a bad game. That's the thing. It's a lot of fun.
That's the thing with niche games, though. Like for any market, if it's too niche and doesn't branch out, you're sunk. You're dead in the water.
Unless you're Friday 13th and a damn lawsuit kills you, rather than the fact.
But that's the difference, though, right? That one hit. You know, like that one was successful.
I miss it.
And then the lawsuit happened, and then it's like, oh, well, you know, we're stuck because they got lost in that mire of legalities, and you know, it killed that. But you know, if it can hit, it's great. Evil Dead was always going to be a niche, though. Like in and of itself is a niche.
Yeah, it's not Halloween or Friday the 13th or
No,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre or anything
which
like that.
itself
Right?
isn't doing good.
No, but you know what? I didn't like that game from launch. I know some of you guys did, but I sat
You
here
did
and
not. I didn't hate it. I had fun
I thought it
playing
was a
it.
far cry from being as I don't know what the right word for this is. As true to Texas Chainsaw Massacre as Friday the 13th was true to it.
It suffered with the amount of characters it had and the differences in how they played and
I think they complicated things a bit too much.
yeah.
But if you're a fan of that game, go check out my cousin's channel. He, what is it, the Vampire Thorn. It's, other than some other games, he fucking just plays that and posts shit. So I don't know how he still into that, but it is what it is, I suppose.
You like what you like.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hey, Johnny and I were amongst a big group of gaming friends for a long time, and most of them were into a game called Ark, and I gave it a
Most of
shot.
them.
And
you were wrong about that game. Still are.
and I think it's fucking awful. But you know what? My kid, when he gets a little older, that's right down his alley because he's a Minecraft guy. So,
You're gonna fall into a circle of hell watching him play that you will never escape from.
if you've met my daughter, I'm already in a circle of hell. Thank you very much. So
That's an entirely different. That's called being a girl dad.
But yeah, let's dive into it. Andor 4 through 6. And we're going to close with some thoughts on a Star Wars game. And I get to open this from
Other side. There
that
you go.
guy.
There you
right
go.
there. And I have no idea what's in it other than it's flat. Damn
Like I
it.
said,
It's
like I
not
said,
a
if you-
hot toy. How dare
No.
you, Randy?
What can I say?
I'll answer that on your behalf. He likes you, but not that much. Buddy, I love you, and I don't even love you that much.
Okay, so Andor 4 through 6. We're going to be brief. We're not going to get into a bunch of specifics. In fact, let me do Andor 1 through 6. This is how I feel. Okay, Randy, I'm sorry. I might accidentally spoil something for you here tonight. Johnny, not so much, but you might get spoiled for this. I'm sorry. But if you watch Star Wars Rebels and you know your timeline stuff, you should be expecting something. Tonight, specifically. And that's all I'll say about that. Is in Andor Season 1, you have episodes 1, 2, and 3. It's an arc. 4, 5, and 6. It's an arc. 7's kind of by itself. 8, 9, 10, the Narkina 9 or Arcana 9, whatever the hell it's called. The prison arc with Andy Serkis. It's an arc. And then the final 2 episodes is an arc. I've seen people go online. No, there were 3-episode arcs in Andor Season 1. No, they weren't. We all just watched it. They're not all 3-episode arcs. But you know what you get in Andor Season 1 is immediate reaction to everything that happens. And here's my biggest con on Andor Season 2 is I don't mind that we're skipping a year. They were put into a box, right? Like, ultimately, Diego Luna and Tony Gilroy just decided, and Disney and Lucasfilm were ready to give them the rope to do 5 full seasons. But ultimately, Diego Luna and Tony Gilroy, I think originally they were thinking they could do, a season a year. And it became, well, I mean, just look at today's TV industry. It's just not that way anymore. It should be, just can't, right? I mean, some shows can. There's shows that don't require a ton of turnover in editing that you can turn it over and do one every year. Like I'm watching Suits LA right now. I actually love it. I think it's great.
It's great. I'm enjoying it too.
You know what? So we're watching the credit. This is off topic. We're watching the credits and we're all the way caught. Are you caught up or no?
I haven't watched the most recent episode yet.
So, like, Stephen Amell, obviously, Arrow and Heels.
Heels. Yep.
Right? So, super popular. I forget the other character's name. One Tree Hill guy. He's in it. Yeah. The blonde lawyer, who I always forget her name. She's the daughter in Taken. So, like, it's a lot of known people. But big guy with the beard.
Okay.
Just bugging me the entire season. I'm like, where the fuck do I know this guy from? He's familiar. Couldn't pinpoint it. Today we figured it out. So we're watching it. Usually I'll skip the intro because it's the exact same as the old intro. And I'm sorry, it doesn't hit like Game of Thrones.
I like the Suits intro. I always have, but I like the song, so that's
and
what it is for me.
so the name comes up and it's Josh McDermott. I'm just like, not only does he look familiar, I know the name, but where the fuck do I know the name from? And so I couldn't figure it out. And she's like, I'm going to Google it. And she's like, oh my God. Picture him with black hair and a mullet and no beard. I'm just like, oh my fucking God, it's Eugene from The Walking Dead. Never would have pieced that together. And then you get looking at his eyes, and the eyes, they're unmistakable. And I love his character in the show. You're really going to like this next episode, Johnny. But yeah. So the turnover. You can turn over a show like Suits. Suits was originally only going to be 10 episodes this year. And they ended up filming 3 more as the first 10 were airing. And they're coming out just like that. You can do that. You can't do that with Game of Thrones. You can't do that with Star Wars. You can't do that with most Marvel shows, although they're going to fucking attempt to with Daredevil. You know, maybe a little less CG and stuff needed in something like that. It just takes time. And fellas, I don't like that when we go from episode 1. Both of the first 2 arcs are like this. It's build, payoff. Build, payoff. Not that that's a terrible format, but I don't think the first 3 episode 3 payoff I thought was pretty good. Same with the episode 6 one. But then you have no immediate follow-up to what's going on. You know what Game of Thrones worked? The big episode was almost never the season finale. It was the penultimate episode, and then
I don't think it ever was the last episode.
I mean, there were good last episodes.
Oh, I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm saying like it was with Game of Thrones. It was the penultimate. That was the episode you waited for every year, and then the finale mopped up what was left.
Once they got into like seasons 4, 5, and 6, the middle episodes got pretty big too. There was usually a 2 or 3 episode arc that was comparable to the penultimate. But you know what the 10th episode was reserved for? The fallout of the big events that happened. And I'm sorry, as much as I love Andor, they have completely dropped the ball on immediate fallout. Because, like, think about it. You're watching episode 4, 5, and 6, and you're like, well, where the fuck's Wilmot at first? What happened to him? Is he alive? Is he dead? You eventually find out. Hello, Eric. How's it going? You eventually find out where Wilmot is. But, like, think about the events that just happened in 4, 5, and 6. We have, Luthen and, oh my God, what's her name? Is it Clea? No, it's not Clea. Sounds close to Leia. Maybe it is Clea. I don't know. But his assistant there, or partner, or whatever you want to call her. There could have been immense fallout to that. There could have been immense fallout to what happened with Vel and Cinta. And we get to see none of it. Because guess what, boys? When tonight picks up, it's going to be a year later. That's a problem for me. I like the show, but when we're skipping the fallout to the big events, you're missing some big time emotional beats. And I get it. We're just supposed to fill in the blanks, but yeah.
It's exactly like you said. There's no time to sit in it. You know, you go right from at the end of the 3rd episode where you literally, kill off one of the more significant characters in the whole series. One of the characters that we've all sort of grown to like throughout the course of this. And I mean, how many times did he get mentioned in the next 3? There's no, you don't have time to process these things. In reality, you have a week, but the characters, you don't see that process. You don't see them going through the motions and coming back to it. And I think for me, Bix's story is another one of those ones that you're just sort of, every time you get a progress in that story, you're like, wait, what? Hold on. Like in the course of that last 3 arc, it's like, wait, she's a drug addict now? What is going on here? Like, you don't, you're lost. in such ways that it's like you're trying to figure out what's going on while trying to figure out what's going on. And in a show like this, where you need to be laser focused on the little things, it's very hard when there are extremely important elements of the big picture that aren't being played out and answered and processed. And that's hugely unfortunate, because for a series like this that is all about the little things, we're losing some of the big things, and that's not what you want. You need those big things to be sort of upfront and present and in your face, so that you know what's going on with the important stories, so that you can spend your time looking at the little things and playing on the, oh, is that this thing, or what's that thing, or especially in a series that's done so well playing at the Easter eggs. You have to watch this, and I mean, I think a little bit of that is intentional, so that you have to go back and rewatch it multiple times to get everything, which is smart, from that perspective. But it's a large portion of the audience isn't going back to watch it a second time or a third time, and they're losing a lot of it. I mean, I'm one of those people. I'm not watching these episodes more than once. I'm watching them Tuesday night. Up until this point, I'd watch them, doing the watch alongs here on the channel for the first one, and for the for those episodes, and then we do the Wednesday night wrap up where we talk about all 3 episodes. Like, I'm watching them Tuesday night, and then I'm not thinking about them after Wednesday until the following Tuesday. And it's not to say that this is bad. Like, if you've watched this, if you're here, and a fan of these shows and watch the content, you'll know that, until a month ago, I hadn't seen past episode 2 of season 1 of Andor. Until we watched through the series here. We did the rewatches of a handful of episodes here on the channel over the course of, like, I'm enjoying season 2 more, but there's still a lot of things that are left to be desired. Like, I'm intrigued in the characters and stories, but there's still.
I do think you got your wish in 4 through 6 in terms of more of a Cassian focus.
Yeah, you definitely did get more of that, which was definitely beneficial. Which is obviously something I've wanted all the way through. If you go back to our rewatches of those episodes, you'll know that I wanted more Cassian in a show named Andor, and we got that last week, so I'm happy about that. But, like, there's so many other little things that we're not getting answers to, that I want answers to, that I know they're gonna, to some degree, play out in future. But there's so many other things that you're not getting the answers to, like, what was the specifics of the incident that kept Cinta sidelined for a year. We assume
For all
that
we
it's
know, it was her taking a what's his face. Maybe it
well,
didn't.
we
go
assume
the
that.
way.
I mean, I don't even think that's confirmed. It's just that's the assumption based on what we see. Like, for all we know, that was a perfect drop off. Somebody else did the deed, and something else happened to her. Shortly thereafter, and it was her cause for being like, we don't have those answers, and those are answers I'd like to have those. Even if it's just, I don't want to say throwaway lines, but Luthen is a character who's very implicit in his speech like that. Like, you could have confirmed that that is what would happen. That is why I've been sidelined for a year, without giving us details to what actually occurred.
Yeah, no, I agree. So here's what we're gonna do. We're cutting it short a bit. Also, by the way, I don't think we should have mentioned this to Randy off here. We didn't, so he's finding out for the first time, and I'm terribly sorry. We just had so much to discuss. We're not going to do any more watch parties during Andor season 2. We're going to do one for Rogue One after it's over, because I think it's fitting. And I think we should follow up with A New Hope the following week. But the reason for that is Andor, in a way, is like Game of Thrones. Also, to the guy in the chat that said Andor is fake Star Wars, I think
all Star Wars is fake. Sorry, pal.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways you could take that. People go, "Oh, Legends is fake." People go, "Oh, Disney is fake." I get where
I'd
John.
like some of that fake Disney Mulan in my pocket then.
Hmm. But it's the highest quality TV show they've ever done, um, in my opinion. Well, no, in terms of what's presented on screen, it's not an opinion. It's not subjective. It's fact.
You can't
Set
argue that.
design,
Even I can't.
sound
Like
design,
even
score.
even as someone who didn't watch the first season as it was airing, I could tell you visually, not the issue. Musically, not the issue. You know, it was content that was my issue, and that's
And some people don't like
held
the
strong.
And then you have people who are so out of touch that they get worked up about two girls making out. So I don't know what to tell you there, other than stop living under a fucking rock and get a life. But I I have problems with it for sure. Right now, season 1 is ahead of season 2, and probably by a not like a massive margin, but a decent bit. You know, you're going to need 6 banger episodes here to touch season 1. But I like it as a collective unit. It's not without its flaws, though. What was your favorite? If you could only pick one part in 4 through 6, what was your favorite part, Randy?
Well, thinking about it, I mean, real quick, I'll play off what you two were talking about. I think part of the reason why we're seeing such a disparaging gap between the episodes is it gives Disney the opportunity to fill that with content that, you know, just to make more money in that respect. Obviously, it's not what we want. We're missing out on some stuff. It sucks. The episodes, if you look at the episode arcs as a whole, you know, they're fun. They're good. That keeps my attention. Obviously, Bix exercising her demons is my definitely my favorite scene in the three episode arc.
Because blowing up a Coruscant apartment is not going to attract attention.
I just think, to me, it was one of those feelings where like, okay, vindication, like it's about time she finally took control of herself, and this was the only way she knew how. And I applaud it.
Did she? Or did Luthen take control for her?
This is true. And that's one of the things I like about having Luthen around is the fact that it appears a character is doing what they want to do, yet you have that little devil on your shoulder, which is clearly Luthen, pretty much saying what you need to hear to do what he wants you to do.
He is one of the best developed Star Wars characters I have ever seen, bar none. Is that poo on the wall? I don't know. Is that poo in your face? Maybe. But no, like seeing how desperate he's become is proper character development. You are hiding, for all intents and purposes, from the Nazis. Go back to World War II and the events that lead to it and the events during it. And you want to rise up against it. It's dangerous. And he's right in that monologue he gave in season 1. He's fighting for a sunrise he's never going to see. Like, I don't think anybody would forgive them for letting him live through Andor season 2 when he's nowhere to be found in Rogue One. Show needs more Rey. She's not even sperm at this point, pal.
Well, I mean, maybe, you know, with the whole cloning process, who knows?
Rey just pops up.
The Rey of the sequel trilogy is actually like Rey Mark 8.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that? Sorry, what was your favorite part though, Randy? Is that your favorite part of the 4 through 6? Her getting her justice, I guess you could say.
I mean, for me, yes, just because obviously I did enjoy the exchange between Andor and Luthen at the shop. I thought that was very well done. But like, just to actually, for me, it was like a bit of a feel good moment in the sense of Bix finally getting some form of justice, considering what we've seen her go through starting at, near the end of season 1, and then just everything she's been going through in these 2 arcs in terms of like her mental health and things like that. It's just, I felt like for me that just, it was it, because there really wasn't it's not to say there wasn't a lot of content in these 3 episodes. It's just it did a lot of it. It was good, but not like something that really captivated me to the point of where um, you're right. I feel like season 1 is still better at this point. I'm not gonna. I have to agree with you on that. So that's why I just picked something that kind of just stuck out to me as something that kind of like, okay, yeah, this resonates with me versus a lot of stuff that it seems like we're building. It doesn't feel like we're doing much of anything except trying to build towards something, and we still didn't get a payoff. So it's like I'm still waiting on that, and it's a little frustrating. And now we're gonna get a year later, so yeah, that's why I picked it.
This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but a character I can't relate to at all, never could. Don't really care, to be honest, is Saw Gerrera. Like, I liked him in Clone Wars, but like, I get it. He's been in, Bad Batch and Rebels, Rogue One. He's probably my least favorite part of Rogue One, if I'm being honest. That being said, Forrest Whitaker's performance is about as good as it can get, right? Like, that dude's fucking off his rocker. But my favorite part, very simple. It's Luthen and Mothma and everybody at the gathering there, and talk about having such tension without almost no action at all. It felt like I was watching an episode of Game of Thrones. It's done so great. So that was my favorite part. What about you, Johnny?
I mean, for me, it's ironic because my favorite and least favorite parts sort of blend together on this episode. In that, my favorite part of it easily was it was Sint and Vel. It was their relationship, their interactions. Seeing them, find watching them be lovers at a dangerous time was glorious. I enjoyed that whole interplay throughout the entirety and leading to that speech, at the end, from Vel was just, you could feel the emotion packed into that speech, at the end there. Um, you could feel the emotion, you could feel the passion. It was great work. It was phenomenal acting. Personally, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute of it. Seeing them deal with an untrained rebel cell, I loved all of that. To flip side that, my least favorite part of that was just how blatant the Gorman resistance was the French resistance of World War II. From the choice in the language sounding almost French to the look of the clothes, like all of that was just too.
It was
I
intentional.
understand. Absolutely, it was. There's no question in my
By
mind
the way, I
about
don't know if
that.
anyone knows this. If you go to YouTube, there's much like with Game of Thrones, every Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon episode has like a. I think House of the Dragons is called Inside the Dragon or Inside the House of the Dragons built or something like that. But there's like 2 15-minute specials on each arc so far that they get in behind the scenes, and you get to hear from all the actors and Tony Gilroy and their choices and the decisions. And like, I get where they're going with that. They wanted it to be I like what they did there, but it is on the nose for sure.
That's the thing. Like I like my, I like that Star Wars for so long for certain people. You could go 30, 40, 50 years and people are like, what do you mean? Star Wars isn't politics. Like they managed to be so subtle in it, which is the one compliment I will always give George Lucas. He played the parallel so subtly that here we are 50 years later, and people are realizing, wait, the Empire was America? And America was the bad guys? Like it just you
And
don't
the rebels
see
were Vietnam. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like you don't play
And then
that
people
out.
will go, no, that's not true. That has nothing to do with it.
Like
And there
it's
was
just
no biblical references in Star Wars. No. No.
like it's like this it's a testament to Star Wars that for so long they could be so political and be treated so apolitically, which is what was just a beautiful thing from the outside looking in. But you can see it, and people like you don't You don't see the parallel. You don't see how this is like seriously. You can't see it, and now we've gotten to the point where it's so in your face that it's like you don't even need to think for what they're going for with the with the Gorman resistance. Basically being the French versus like I just it was a little too on the nose for me in that regard, which is the one thing I didn't like about it because I do like that subtlety in there. Like the parallels you've been making the parallels to to Nazi Germany and and the things they did and hiding from them and all of that throughout the course of seasons, which isn't true. There's definitely been those parallels, but this time it was just so in your face that it's like it's. I don't like that being the thing to take from the episode. Like
I mean, when Bono showed up, I popped hard. So, no, come on. We didn't think the Bono glasses were a little on the nose, people. I mean, Diego Luna looked great in them, but maybe we could have gone a little less Bono.
I'm sorry, I complained about an AK-47 in season 1.
Oh,
I'm
you
the
are
problem.
not going to compare AK-47, which is in Return of the Jedi, but Anyways, it seems like we're all happy with the show. We don't think it's bad. We think it's good, but it's just not up to season 1 standards yet. And when you look at most of the people that reviewed this thing, most of the critics and content creators who've seen all 12 episodes, they all say it's better than season 1. Well, that's why you need to wait till you see 12 episodes before making the call, because I was going to say we have no idea what's in these next 6 episodes, but we have an idea what's in these next 6 episodes. It's how it's presented. We got to get wrapping up here. Randy, you wanted to rant about something. Johnny and I are going to have no input in this whatsoever. You got 2 minutes, buddy. Throw them under the bus.
So, May the 4th came and went. We got the announcement that basically there's going to be a Star Wars Grand Collection that was released for PlayStation, Switch, and it's supposed to be 9 games. Switch got all 9 games. PlayStation only got 6. The 3 that the Switch got that the PlayStation did not, KOTOR 1, 2, and then The Force Unleashed. I mean, I feel like we did rob, but at the price point, $90 for this bundle of games, you should have given PlayStation, anybody who owns a PlayStation that wanted to buy this, you should have given them all 9 games, because that's just ridiculous, to be perfectly honest.
All I'm going to say on that front is don't be surprised if what has gone on with the Knights of the Old Republic remake has had something to do why they didn't get Knights of the Old Republic 1 or 2. If everybody remembers, it was announced as a Sony exclusive. I can tell you right now, it is not anymore. If it ever comes out, it is not a Sony exclusive, which complicates things. So, I'm with Randy. You should have had something exclusive in there at least. It's too much money. And by the way, most of these games were released sporadically over a couple year period where a lot of us have already bought these individually. It's as bad as when they tried to re-release the original Battlefront 2 and failed horribly at it. And you'll notice that game's not included. So,
well, it's just like they just re-released Jedi Power Battles. Well, this is part of the bundle too, so it's and
it's worth playing in couch co-op with someone if you have someone that wants to play it.
But also a lot of these things, if you have PlayStation Premium, you can go and play Racer and Bounty Hunter, like just without even having to purchase anything. Even Jedi Outcast, like they're part of the PlayStation Plus Premium. So
shout out to the Pod Racer cameo in Andor last week.
I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a huge cash grab on Star Wars Day. You know what I mean? But I understand you're trying to bring in people who may have never played these games or may have never gotten into Star Wars that much at the time. I understand that part, but still, to be $90 for games that are ranging almost like 20 years old or better, or maybe 15 years old.
And then to not include the remastered Dark Forces in it as well. I know you already have that, Randy, but that would have been a selling point for some people.
which is excellent. It's what a remaster should be. They really cleaned it up. It still plays really crisp and fast like it did on in the original PS1 when I played it.
I remember
It's a
wanting
lot
to
of
throw
fun.
my controller through a TV playing that, renting it from Blockbuster, not being able to fucking get past like the second map. We got to wrap here though, guys. We've gone long enough. Johnny and I got 3 episodes of Andor to get through, which means bedtime ain't coming for me till like 1 a.m. and I got work tomorrow. So lovely.
I'm in for tomorrow afternoon at this point.
Pardon?
So I'm in for tomorrow afternoon at this point, since I'm waking up at a normal hour.
I don't have that luxury, unfortunately. But what I am going to do as we're going off air here is I'm going to blow myself up here a bit because I'm an egomaniac.
It's also relevant to what you're doing.
Randy was kind enough to send something my way, and I muted myself and I opened the end of it, and it's a good thing that I did because it was a bitch to open. So I don't know, it's been sealed so long, like I was tearing it off in like pieces. So we're about to find out what's in this thing. Always like getting something unexpected. Do you have any story you want to tell behind this before I open it up, or no?
Let's just say if I tell the story, it'll ruin the surprise.
All right. I'm going to look at it myself first, and then I will show all of you. I do have, hang 1 second here. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's fucking awesome, man. That's great. I don't know if I mentioned it. He's my favorite. I know he's not some people's favorite. He's my favorite.
And that's why I was able to. That's why I did what I did.
Hard to see with it might be better for me to turn the light off, actually. So I don't know if anyone can make that out. We're seeing my reflection. There we go. It's a little better. It's a Derek Mears autographed print, which Randy clearly got from one of the conventions he went to. Dude, this means the world. That's awesome, man. And to all you haters out there, Friday the 13th remake is still the best Friday the 13th movie ever made. So, sorry, 1 second. Tell the story. I'm listening. Did you hear that?
So basically, here in Richmond, every year just recently we started up a Nightmare Weekend, and it's a horror themed con. This last one that I went to, they had multiple Jasons there, and obviously I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan, so I had to go and get my pictures with them and get autographs and whatnot. But I knew that Sean was a huge fan of Derek Mears as Jason, and I went up, and so I got up there, got to shake his hand, had talked to him a little bit, and told him about the reasons behind the autograph. Obviously, for many of us, we know that Sean had a rough 2024, and I wanted to do something nice, just to kind of help brighten his day, considering everything he's been going through. So, and that's why I did that.
I really appreciate that, man. Made a Facebook status the other day just saying, like, whether it's doesn't have to be gifts or anything like that, but sometimes people just need someone to talk to and be there for them. And like we were talking about off air, you've been an excellent addition, and I appreciate it. And while this is obviously a nice gift, it doesn't take a bunch of money to be a nice human being and just be nice to people. And that's my message as we go off here is you don't need to be a piece of shit person. I know, I haven't necessarily been the best role model citizen in my life at times, but sometimes we all just need someone there for us at times, and it's appreciated, man. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome.
For Johnny and Randy, I'm Sean. I'm going to watch Andor, and I will try to not spoil it for Johnny. Hopefully he decides to at least watch one episode tonight. I need someone. Are you watching it tonight, Randy, or no?
I'll probably be doing it at work tomorrow.
Oh, for the love of God, I have no one to talk to. Jade will probably go to bed after one episode, too. You guys are killing me. This guy down here is supposed to be the Night Owl expert. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys.
I am, but occasionally night owls hibernate.
We'll see you tomorrow night, 10-ish, or 11, or midnight. Ask the Leafs. See you.